Here's my preview of the Baylor versus Norfolk State men's basketball game in the round of 64. Some players to keep an eye on. Joe Bryant Jr., 6'1", 220-pound guard as a senior, 16.8 points per game, 55 for 160 on threes, 127 for 138 on free throws, 5.1 rebounds per game, 1.4 steals per game, 3.3 assists per game, 3 turnovers per game. Jalen Hawkins is a 6'2", 185-pound guard as a senior, 13.4 points per game, 39 for 109 on threes, 72 for 104 on free throws, 3.8 rebounds per game, 2 turnovers per game, 1.3 steals per game. Chris Bankston is a 6'8", 230-pound forward. That's a senior, 11.3 points per game, 61 for 113 on free throws, 6.9 rebounds per game, 1.5 turnovers per game, 1.2 blocks per game, 0.9 steals per game. Dana Tate is a 6'7", 220-pound forward. That's a junior, 9.9 points per game, 37 for 84 on threes, 37 for 84 to be clear. 35 for 48 on free throws, 5.8 rebounds per game, 1.6 turnovers per game, 0.6 steals per game. Christian Ings is a 6'2", 185-pound guard. That's a junior, 9.1 points per game, 14 for 32 on threes. So he does shoot some, but not all the time. But when he does, he makes some most of the time. So, not most of the time, but you know what I'm saying. Above 40%. 46 for 67 on free throws, 2.4 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists per game, 1.8 turnovers per game, 0.9 steals per game, 1.5 fouls per game. Tyrese Jenkins is a 6'6", 200-pound guard as a junior. 6.6 points per game, 31 for 98 on three-pointers, 18 for 27 on free throws, 4.5 rebounds per game, 1 turnover per game. Kaheem Brown is a 6'8", 200-pound guard that's a junior. 5.3 points per game, 3 for 17 on threes, 34 for 51 on free throws, 3.1 rebounds per game, 1.6 turnovers per game, 0.9 steals per game. Now, Zia Chambers is a 6'7", 230-pound forward. That's a junior, 3.1 points per game, 2 for 4 on threes, 21 for 38 on free throws, 3.5 rebounds per game, 0.7 turnovers per game. Daryl Anderson is a 6'6", 185-pound guard. That's a junior, 3 points per game, 24 for 64 on threes, 6 for 11 on free throws, 0.7 turnovers per game. Terrence Jones is a 6'3", 165-pound guard. That's a sophomore, 1.8 points per game, 6 for 27 on threes, 9 for 14 on free throws. Chris Ford is a 6'8", 235-pound forward. That's a senior, 1.3 points per game, 12 for 19 on free throws, 0.6 turnovers per game. Andre Bonham is a 6', 180-pound guard. That's a sophomore, 1.1 points per game, 0 for 3 on threes, 7 for 10 on free throws. Yoro Sidibe is a 6'7", 200-pound guard. That's a junior, 0.9 points per game, 0 for 5 on threes, 2 for 5 on free throws. On both ends of the floor, Baylor needs to come out with more energy from the jump in both halves to start both halves. That's what happened last game. Obviously, in general, you got to avoid foul trouble, especially against a team that can hit a lot of free throws. I mean, it's the truth. Offensively, you got to take care of the ball. You did take care of the ball good against Oklahoma in your last game, but you were not making shots. And you got to make more shots this game, obviously. And you're coming off of a loss. You need to be more motivated. You don't want to be one of 2 number 1 seeds in men's basketball history that has lost to a 16 seed or 3 overall, if you include the women's side, with Stanford losing on this day 24 years ago to Harvard. You got to make more shots, and Adam Flagler needs to have a much better game. I mean, 2 points, he was a no-show. He had a bad game. You can't have him go bad like that again. for the rest of the year. I don't care. And same goes for James Akinjo. Both of those guys need to combine for at least 30 or 35 points at minimum. Obviously, Kendall Brown, I would say to him, take more threes. They're going to back off of you. I mean, take them. And you've been making them. Why not? And Jeremy Stonehan needs to step up as well. And obviously, Philip Thumba, you got to protect yourself and not getting some illegal screens in there. Nor you got to make more shots too. I mean, you had some good looks last game against Oklahoma, all the players that played, but you just couldn't knock them down for whatever reason. Obviously, Matt Meyer is one of those wild card guys because I know he's capable of scoring a bunch at once. At least, and the rebounding, you got to get second chance points. You got to get fast break points in this game. Try to put Norfolk State away early so you don't have to deal with them all game long here, especially when you don't have a lot of depth to begin with. And granted, we don't know about LJ Cryer, but Kendall Brown should be back in this game, by the way. He had a leg thing, but he should be back. So, yeah, and Daryl Bonner, just be aggressive and penetrate and kick it out. And I know he could score too. It's just he's more of a passer and a defender. On defense, it's obvious. You got to shut down the three-point shooters and contain the slashers. And you got to find a way to disrupt them much better than you did against Oklahoma. And I know Oklahoma played a lot better than they normally are offensively in shooting the ball like that from three. But you cannot allow that many threes. But at the same token, you got to make more shots too. I mean, you got to limit the second chance points, fast break points, points off turnovers, especially in a game where an upset could be happening, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm just saying, you don't want to give the other team hope to stick around all game long and make it more interesting than it needs to be. And you just got to be smart, like I said, on both ends on foul trouble, and especially with the depth issue. And luckily, they don't have a guy above 6'9" in their rotation, or that are listed. Luckily, they don't. But you gotta win the glass on both ends. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. Let's get me up to 400 subscribers or more by the end of this year.